Welcome to the Halley Elise Show, featuring your host, empowerment psychic Halley Elise. She is an author, psychic, and media personality, and has been listed as one of the top 100 psychics in America. Empowerment psychic Halley Elise shares the spiritual, metaphysical, holistic, and magical powers of the universe. Follow Halley on her website at HalleyElise.com, and all her shows can be seen via live stream video. Now, here's your host, empowerment psychic Halley Elise.
Good evening and welcome once again to the Halley Elise Show. I'm, as always, delighted with my guests when they're here, but I wanted to give you a little info before we dive in, and that is, some of you may have noticed that I said Mondays, the first Mondays specifically, are Super Mondays, and that's when we have the Psychic Gallery as well as the show. But the show is pre-recorded that night. I heard that people were calling in and they wanted to know what was going on. But, you know, I haven't mastered being in two places yet at once. I'm working on it, though. And third Monday, and I know a lot to remember, right, is going to be Psychic Monday, and that's actually next week. So if you want to call in for a psychic reading, please do. And over time, I'll have some friends come in who also do circuit work. You like that? Blah, psychic work. And you'll be able to chat with us. But this evening, I'm happy to say I have Dr. Maya here. I'm telling you, all of a sudden I'm tripping over my tongue. It gets to be a habitual thing. That's it. I give up. I'm going home. But I have Dr. Maya here from the Dr. Maya Clinic, and you're going to find out all about alternative medicine, studying in the Orient, how medicine has changed, and, if you will, Eastern philosophies influence how we look at things today, but more important, how you as a patient have the ability to shift your consciousness, shift your emotion, and make a vast difference in your healing. So without further ado, hi Maya.
Hi Halley. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited about it.
My pleasure. I'm so glad that you could come in. I know we were playing with schedules a little bit and finally said, okay, this day, let's do it. So it worked out well. So a lot of folks don't understand when you say you are an alternative doctor, or that you do acupuncture, or you do Asian arts medicine or anything like that. They're like, what is that? And I'm not going to ask that question because that's one of those things we talked about. But I think it's better if we actually make reference to how people get better, understanding themselves better, how you can actually facilitate their wellness by including them in their own process.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Thank you for not asking me about what I do, because it's never about what I do or what I can do to a person to get person better. In modern world now, we have this mentality that if we're not feeling well, if we are sad, or something's wrong with us, something is missing in us, and we need to correct that, or somebody has to give us a pill or advice or listen to us, and we correct that and we'll be perfect. The funny thing is that we are not perfect, and that is normal, and it's known for 10,000 years. Well, except you, Halley.
No, I was going to include you.
And it is beautiful. We are humans, and we have our seasons in life. We have a winter and we have a summer, and that's perfect. So what is happening in my clinic and in my practice is I look at my patients or people to come to my clinic as they are happening right now in this moment, not in a disease or in the health, but in their perfect state. And then we look together with the patient at all the aspects of their lives. Including their nutrition, their lifestyle, their health, current health, previous health, and their goals specifically. Because one person comes to me and say, you know, Dr. Maya, I want to have some acupuncture. My question to them is that, what is happening with you at the moment, and how do you know you need an acupuncture? So what are your goals, and what is important about being healthy? Okay. What does it mean?
Okay, so what I think is different, perhaps, is when someone comes in to see you, they have to tell you what's wrong, which is kind of the opposite of what Western medicine does. It says, what's hurting, okay, and we'll figure out what's wrong, and we'll treat it for you. Now, I think we've seen a shift as far as doctors being more educated, not just in medical school, but in holistic practices and in understanding that there's complementary medicine, and you have the ability now to look beyond. It is not just, okay, my left arm hurts, so let me give you some medicine and fix it. And by the way, we'll do some x-rays while we're giving you medicine to fix it. We're looking at things a little deeper. And I think this is what you bring to the table when somebody comes in and they say, okay, well, my left ear hurts today. You don't say, oh, that's the problem. You turn around and stick them in the right shoulder and go, that's a problem. No, I'm just teasing.
No, you're,
but part of that is true in the sense that the symptom is simply that. It is a symptom. It is not necessarily the cause, and it is not necessarily...
Well, it's never the cause, actually. The symptom is body's ability to show you that something is happening, something is wrong. And it can be wrong on different levels. It can be wrong on a physical level or on an emotional level or spiritual level of relationships. Say, if somebody comes to me and say, I have arthritis or diabetes, the Western medicine would give you a pill, most likely. But in my practice, an alternative medicine practice, it is about what does it mean that you have a high cholesterol? What is happening in your body that your body is not processing whatever it is it's supposed to process? And in all holistic medicine and all alternative medicine is the idea of how we create the environment in our body and in our mind so we will be healthy. So a real trick is not that we need something extra or something has to be taken from us or given to us, is that how we create an environment within us so we are balanced. And when we are balanced, then all the symptoms of disease goes away, because the disease goes away by itself when it is cured from the root, when we are balanced.
Well, here's the thing, though, about being balanced. People don't know when they're not balanced emotionally. Somebody could say, well, I had a tough day, or it's been a stressful month, or there's something going on in my world, but they don't specifically realize that there is something that's out of whack. And I think it's interesting that you brought up the corollary between the mind, body, and spirit, because you cannot have one imbalance and think that the other two are okay out of balance and that everything is going to be perfect, that there's going to be perfect health. It's impossible. And yet it's something we seem to strive for all the time. Don't you find that when somebody puts something in check, a lot of times something else shifts and you then have to address that?
Absolutely. All the healing happens on a multiple levels. It happens on the physical, emotional, and mental level simultaneously. So when a person comes to my practice, my patient, we start working simultaneously on all three different levels, on the physical, mental, spiritual, emotional levels. Because every disease, every disharmony runs as a pattern. It's a pattern of say sadness can correlate with the pattern of a depression on a physical level and a pattern of suppressed immune system. We can see suppressed immune system because person is being prone to infections. And we could say, oh, the depression is a totally different issue, so it can be addressed with a different doctor and in a different environment, but in fact, it's the same pattern. So when we start addressing the immune system through nutrition, through exercises, or we can address it on the level of mental exercises and emotional health, all levels of health balance each other, and the root cause can be addressed this way.
Okay, so just to clarify for folks listening in, if, for instance, someone is depressed, they are very sad, you're saying that there is that connection as far as physically, and they don't necessarily need to go to a psychiatrist and also come to you because their immune is defunct. They can come to you and you can say, okay, this is what's taking place emotionally, this is how we balance that. This is what's taking place physically, this is how we balance that.
Correct.
And you actually empower your patient to be more in charge of their own wellness.
Correct, absolutely. We always work together with a patient as a team. I will facilitate creating the environment for the patient to address whatever issues they have, because I educate them. I educate on the nutritional level, on the mind-body level, on exercise level, on what to think of, how to find the meaning in whatever is happening with them. It can be devastating disease, and again, you can change the meaning of it, and it can be very different for the patient. So we always work together with the patients. And any holistic medicine practitioner does. In my practice, I do it from a physical, emotional, and mental levels all together. So yes, they don't have to go to a psychiatrist necessarily if they are sad and depressed, because in my practice, I have so many different tools to deal with it. In fact, I specialize on emotional healing, on an emotional component to any health conditions. We can evaluate their neurotransmitter levels if they want to on a chemical level. We can do neuroemotional work. We can do some neurolinguistic programming with them. And all of the sudden, the world might start shifting, changing, and things look different. So the healing will come by itself. That is the most amazing thing that happens in my practice, is when people say, I feel differently from inside. I have no idea how it happened, but I am just a different person now. I am so much better. I am like I was when I was 15 years old.
That's wonderful. See, but I'm glad that you brought up the point about feeling different, because as far as I know, any holistic practitioner that is a friend or that I've gone to over the years, a lot of times they'll work on you and there's something going on and they'll say, notice what happens. Not a matter of notice a specific change, but notice if there is a difference, and that any difference means that things are starting to change for you. And I think that's very important, that people recognize that your practice is very different, again, from Western philosophies. You know, Western philosophies is different means whatever the ache was, whatever the discomfort was, it's just gone. It went bye-bye. You don't have to worry about it anymore. But it's not necessarily really gone. A lot of times you're covering up something instead of taking care of it. I know from my own health, and I think I may have mentioned at one point that back in 2005, I was diagnosed with an illness, and for 2.5 years prior, I'd been running to doctors. One told me I was a hypochondriac. The other one said, your blood work's fine, so don't worry about it. Somebody else said something else. You know, everybody was like, oh, you just need a vacation. They had a million different reasons why it was I was feeling the way that I was feeling. And it wasn't until something happened later that showed them, there's really something there. I wasn't making it up. And I think there is value in not only evaluating where the problem is, but also understanding that sometimes it's not on the surface. Sometimes you have to dig a little deeper, and I believe that's where the emotional component is very important.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up, because I will pretty much explain to everybody what's happening in my practice. Say you are coming as a patient to me, and we will sit together and we will discuss for an hour and a half what's happening in your life, what's happening with your health, and what are your goals and successes, and why your goals are not met at this point. And then I will, as you say, dig deeper and see what really is happening with you also in your mind and in your emotions. Now, the phenomena of the Eastern medicine is about transformation. So it's not about taking the pain away, but it's about transforming you. And transformation is an interesting thing. My base modality is a 5-element. It's a 5-element tradition of Chinese medicine, and in a 5-element tradition we look at the emotional component and physical component. And when we look at the emotional component, we know that if you are experiencing certain emotions that are not pleasant, say anger or say fear, there is always bright side to it. There's always a flip side to it to which you can transform. Say if you are experiencing fear, Chinese medicine believes that fear is a shadow side of the wisdom. And if you are experiencing worry and obsession, the flip side of it, the virtue side of it, is nurturing and being a teacher and sharing your gifts. And things like this for many different elements. So when I look at the person's disease, a person that has a certain disease, I know that there is a virtue that this person, when this person will obtain that virtue, when he will get to that, then the disease will be gone by itself. So it is about a transformation of the spirit, it's a transformation of emotion, and it's transformation of health. Nothing goes away and nothing's come in. We have all the resources that we need to deal with whatever life is giving us. It can be on the business level, can be on the health level or an emotional level. We know internally what we need. All that is stopping us from achieving that is our own internal blocks. And my job is to detect what blocks are there to stop you from achieving your goal and help you to release those blocks. And then the healing will happen in a most beautiful way.
Beautiful, truly. And I'm delighted that you're here today. We are going to take a quick break, and then if you will, join me back once again with Dr. Maya, my guest today. Or I should say this evening. Again, tongue is wherever it is.
Times are tough, and right now those in the commercial world know that being heard via advertisements is the name of the game. AmpSquare.tv understands how important advertisement is and is proud to express that it's truly the only plugged-in internet television production company on the market. Amp2.tv live streams all their shows across all the major selling markets in the U.S. and abroad. Call them at 866-224-5422. The AmpSquare.tv library allows productions to be seen over and over again, making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. Amp2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.TV. You're listening to Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise, and she invites you to visit her website for more information about all that she does at HalleyElise.com. Now, back to your host, Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise.
Hi. We're busy listening to the happy song. You didn't know that's what that was, did you? It's kind of a different version. It's an instrumental, but I love it. And it's so funny because I was speaking with somebody the other day, and they were saying they are so tired of that happy song that they keep listening to it over and over again, and they just want it to go away. And I said, how can you want the happy song to go away? It's amazing. Anyways, welcome back. If you just tuned in, I have Dr. Maya with me from the Dr. Maya Clinic, and up to this point we were talking about wellness and talking about how the patient actually is more in charge of what's going on with their wellness than they might recognize. But I want to go to something that's even more fun for most people, because wellness is good, don't get me wrong. Obviously, everybody needs to be healthy. But we live in a time and day where people want to look pretty, and you have the ability to deal with anti-aging in a very unique and different way. So I'm going to return to Dr. Maya here and ask, what about little blue squishy cup things? If you would share with us what that is.
Well, blue squishy cups is for the stress release. It's not necessarily anti-aging.
But that's part of it. I mean, truly, because, we both teach with meditation and stress management. So, I mean, I'm bringing it up, teasing around, but that is an aspect of it.
Absolutely, yeah. And anti-aging is a very interesting phenomenon nowadays. You're absolutely right that everybody want to look beautiful and 20 years old and thin and whatever our society dictates us. But nothing wrong with that. We want to look good, but really we also want to look good from the inside out. And
wait, does that mean like pretty bladder and
Yes, your organs should be happy. That's correct. But
Turn that happy song back on.
yeah, let's talk about the face.
Yes.
Face and the glow of the face and the skin. If you are angry constantly or worried constantly,
Right.
you create this expression on your face that creates this pattern over wrinkles. I help my patient through also reading the face. I read the pattern of wrinkles on their face, facial features, and I'll tell you that that can tell 95% truth about person's life. It's very exciting on its
No,
own.
we have to do that. We haven't done that yet.
We should do that.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. But also what it shows to me is what emotions this person experiencing. And why the anti-aging treatments that I do in my clinic last long, because we address those emotions as well. And not only that, some of my treatments are acupuncture treatments for anti-aging. I create a body treatment with the acupuncture needles. They're very thin and they're very painless, correct?
Yes, you
Yes.
actually were okay.
So what we can do a lot of different things through the acupuncture, because there are many different systems of acupuncture. One that I love to do with the anti-aging treatments is that I'm opening up energy pathways that bring out the young part of you. And then when the young part of you is out, then I start working on the face. I can work on the face with a very, very small little tiny needles and very small glass beauty cups. And a treatment takes about maybe an hour or so, and it's extremely pleasant. Also, I address my patients' nutrition, detoxification, emotional state, and their lifestyle, what they do, how they think, what do they think, and their pattern of life. This way, when we address it all together, then this anti-aging component will become a very successful in a people's life, because they learn how to live. They live their lives successfully.
Okay, so you're not saying that you're just fixing their face, or you're
Correct.
just, sucking out fat, which is a
Correct,
good thing.
correct.
But
Well,
a
no,
lot of
if you
times
suck
people
out
have to
fat-
go back to have things done again. Besides that, you need
Exactly.
fat cells for your skin to be healthy. So the idea of
course.
removing them seems to be very disturbing.
No, if you balance if you balance yourself through many different emotional, physical, nutritional, all of that, then your body will rebalance. Body is extremely smart. We don't give enough credit to our bodies that are very complex, and at the same time, it's very simple to take care of them in a
Sure.
right way. And the education part is important for it. I love going to companies or private companies to talk about it, to do lunch and learns. I talk for Bethesda Hospital, for example, for
Right.
the employees, and taught them about what acupuncture is, and they were really fascinated. But back to the anti-aging in the face is that if we do Botox injections or do plastic surgeries and do not address anything else, health-wise, emotion-wise, then it will go back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It returns back to
It
the
returns
state
back,
that it
and
was
actually
in,
it will be
simply
worse.
because, well, you figure you're exacerbating what the state naturally is, and it's a cover-up again. It's just, oh, let me stick you with this little injectable, and it's going to look all fluffy and good. Maybe it'll be a year, maybe it'll be 6 months. But if you have a lifestyle where you are miserable,
Yep.
you have a lifestyle where you're always thinking about how to fix something, you're discontent, you can't be in a state of gratitude, then that's going to affect how your face looks. And I tease all the time, and when I used to do the meditation classes over at the university, the administrator and I had this little joke. He'd come in and he'd say, "Oh, are you all medicated?" "Oh, I mean meditated," because there was that Zen feel, that sense of being relaxed and at ease. And people would find that their coworkers or their spouses or their children would start saying to them, "Mom or Dad, what are you doing that's different? You look better, you look younger." And then I would tease about, "Hey, I'm 90, I look pretty good for my age." But all kidding aside, if you address just the external part of it, then so much is lacking, because it is like makeup. it only has that temporary effect. And
It will get worse.
Fantastic, though, that somebody can come to you and actually have the longevity of youth and the longevity of beauty, not because you've cut something away or gone and done something intrusive, but something that's really mild and easy to deal with, and they learn about themselves in the process. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, correct. Things can get only better or worse. Things never stay the same. Your age never stays the same. Your whatever illness never stays the same, or emotions, they get all worse or better. And I choose that things should go better.
Absolutely. It's so fascinating, too, that you and I do things very differently, and our methodologies and training is very different, and yet we have very similar philosophies in respect to how to deal with the client and creating that harmony and that balance. And I was thinking, too, in respect to when I took hypnosis, when I was studying for the clinical hypnosis, we were talking about how having that person go into that state where they really connect deeply with themselves and they understand about themselves can transform almost anything. And so often it's not even the thing that you think it's supposed to be. You know, you may have an issue that you've been concerned about, and you go into that wonderful place, and all of a sudden that's gone, but so are so many other things that you didn't even realize. But when they're gone, you go, I'm missing that. It's kind of funny in the sense of, it's similar to, if you get out of bed every day and you have pain, you know that you have pain. And yet, one day if the pain is gone, you get out of bed and you're like, pain's not there. How'd that happen? Where did it go? And you might have been working on something else, and yet the pain's gone. And you start to think about, I went to Dr. Maya, or I went to Halley, or I went to so-and-so, and I've been working with different modalities, and wow, it's really effective. And I think that's the best part about really what you and I do, is that we have the ability to watch people transform.
Oh, that is the best.
And I think that, to me, just makes me smile, whether it's, doing something for a few minutes or doing a long process, whatever. It's just that idea of that light going on, of seeing them become the best that they can be. That, to me, is amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know that you feel the same way. We share a couple of clients, which is kind of funny, and I'll see them running in your place. I'm like, oh, hi. And I see them come out, and they're glowing, and they're happy. They're in a great mood. So it does make a difference. Now, if somebody's never done acupuncture before, never done, you have so many different modalities. We don't have long enough time to cover all of them, but I was going to say, give me one word, one, if you will, treatment that you would suggest for somebody for the first time if they were coming in. What would that be?
Impossible to tell, but
pick something out of your hat.
Okay, it can be 5-element modality of acupuncture because it has strong transformational ability.
Perfect.
Another one is neuroemotional.
No, you're only allowed one. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. I hope you'll tune in again next week. As I said, it'll be Psychic Monday, so we'll be doing readings then. And if you have an opportunity, please take a look at Dr. Maya Clinic. Is it .com?
Yes.
.com online, and see what she has to offer. She's pretty amazing. I thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Be enchanted and delighted. Connect each week here on WNN for the Halley Elise Show. Also on Facebook and at HalleyElise.com. Thanks for tuning in. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.